There, viewers, welcome back. Today we have a 2009 Toyota Camry Hybrid. Never worked on any of these before, so never really even played around with them, seen them, heard about them, things like that. So kind of be a learning experience here, see what's wrong with it. The customer complaint is they told me that it needs a new hybrid battery, and I don't know if anybody's ever priced those out, but you can spend an upwards of $4,000 for one of those. So kind of here to see if that's maybe the case. Maybe there's some tests that we can do. Again, I don't work on these cars, so I don't really have any great solutions off the top of my head. But I did notice when I brought it in, I assume the car just turned on. You never really know. I did notice the check engine light was on, and that I know we can use our Altel, and we can kind of see what the deal is with that. So, ooh, oh, everything's turning on, baby. We got check hybrid system. So let's just go in here to diagnostics. We can do this together. Let's see what she says. Beep. Toyota. Let's see here. Diagnosis. Come on, baby. Not sure why we're... Oh, okay, here. We're going to scan everything. So we have the engine has one fault. Brakes, nothing. Airbags, good. Combination meter. I don't know what that is. No tire pressure. I know what that is. Main body, kind of know what that is. Driver door motor, interesting. Hybrid control, one fault. Cruise control, EMPS, don't know what that is. AC, okay. Sliding roof. Oh, hey, we do have a sunroof. Okay, smart key. Occupant detection. Okay, so let's go here into our engine, just see what we got. Oh, and it tells you what each one of these do. That's nice. So let's go trouble codes. What do we got? Oh, poor engine power. Okay. All right. P3190. Let's escape. Let's see if we can't go into this hybrid control. Don't know if you guys can see this. And engine failed to start. Okay, P0A0F. Okay, so how do you start the engine? You step on the gas? No. You step on the brake and push. Oh, now it says ready. I hear whirring. Oh, there she goes. Huh. It's running. I assume it's running. My foot is on the floor, and the engine is not revving up. It is not charging the battery. I'll let you see what I see. Enhance. Enhance. It has the deluxe infotainment system. So, my battery should be charging with the engine idling, I would think. My foot is on the floor. Foot is not on the floor. Okay, electric motor is apparently charging the battery, which is, I would expect, normal. Oh, now it revs up. Okay. So you're seeing what I see. Judging by the ready message, I'm assuming the car is actually on. Stepping on the pedal. Alright folks, so right now it looks like more of a gas motor problem, which, alright, than it does an electric problem. So I picked a couple data PIDs, just generic OBD, and one thing I notice when I step on the pedal, so the engine starts, but if you look on the camera, hopefully you can see what I see. With my foot on the floor, my mass airflow is not twitching, like at all. So, absolute throttle position is 21.2% for some reason. My short term probably isn't going to change until the O2 warms, or the air fuel meter warms up. I'm just not getting any mass airflow. So I think, even though I don't have a code, I might maybe start looking at what our mass airflow sensor is doing and what we need to do to check it. I suppose I've already photographed the DTCs on this, so we've saved. The freeze frame really doesn't, it's been driven like a half a mile since the codes have been cleared, so I assume that happened when the battery went dead. But I'm just going to go in and clear some codes here. Let's see what monitors maybe have or have not ran. Because let's face it, the driver's seat's pretty comfortable. So whatever we can do from here is all the better. Oh, here we go. Misfire monitoring, okay. Fuel system, okay. Comprehensive component, okay. Evap, incomplete. Oxygen sensor heater, incomplete. The rest are just not applicable to this car. So I think what I'll do, the risk of babbling too much, I'm going to check my air filter, make sure that's not completely totally clogged. I'm going to clear these DTCs, see what comes back. We'll do that. I'm going to check my fuel pump. I'll probably just do a current ramp on that. I believe on these it's awesome, right underneath the back seat cushion, so that should be wicked easy. We could maybe check for a plug catalytic converter because of low engine power. I don't know if this car has EGR or not. I do believe it's standard typical port fuel injection, being an 09. I don't think it's gasoline direct or anything like that. So our fuel pressure probably be in the 50 poundish range as far as that's concerned. And I'm going to go ahead and clear out my DTCs and let's see what comes back. Okay, where we're at, I have cleared out all trouble codes from the hybrid. Our message went away. Oh, ready. Sweet. And our messages are gone. Check engine lights off. I'm going to start the engine. Nothing still. Go trouble codes. No fault codes detected. And go into the engine computer and maybe see if Bluetooth connection failed. Okay, we're not too concerned about that. See if the PCM's thrown any codes. So the engine just shut off. Car in reverse maybe. Okay. Engine has still not started. There's park. Okay, it's charging the battery now. I feel like they offer college classes on this type of stuff. That display is kind of helpful. So I don't have any trouble codes at this point. I think we need to drive the car. because it's clearly able to start the engine, stop the engine. I haven't touched anything. I've just cleared out the codes. At this point, it looks like it's charging the battery. We're down to a whopping 2 bars of battery. So let's take it for a toot. Oh baby, here we go. Oh, parking brake. There we go. So far it feels like typical car. Electric power steering. Gas engine's purring nicely. Seatbelt, current and unbuckled state. Okay, we're gonna put our seatbelt on. You win. You win, baby. Whew. So far, no codes, no service hybrid. Ironically, no lag and hesitation when you step on the gas pedal. Feels like a CVT, probably because it is. Ooh, regenerative braking, baby. Yeah. Dear Lord, we're making 20 miles to the gallon in the high school parking lot. Clearly, we need to run some laps with this car. Battery's currently at 3 bars. Oh, yeah. Oh, feel that power. Actually, you know what? It's got more power than I was expecting. Electric acceleration, yeah. Oh, we went down to 10 miles per gallon, baby. Sorry, you can't not drive a hybrid vehicle and be completely obsessed with gas mileage. Like, it's impossible. So apparently, if you put the shifter in B, it does this like automatic regenerative braking thing, which is kind of cool. And it, of course, says such on the screen. The accelerator decelerates kind of nice. Try not to drop the camera here. I close the sunroof. Oh man, my head hits the top of the. Hang on. We're gonna adjust the driver's seat. Oh, it goes down. Nice. Okay. That's actually a lot better. Wow. Okay. All right. Rule number 1 is never adjust the seat. You better make sure it goes back up. Oh, it does. It's a Toyota. It goes back up. Sorry. Oh, okay. All right. Well. You know what? I'm just going to stop right here in the middle of the old road. Trouble codes. Oh boy. Well, I might have to look at code setting criteria. Because there ain't nothing. There's no messages. It is getting hot in here. Oh boy. Turn the old Fanuruski on. Go hybrid control. Yes, dear. Trouble codes. Nothing. So I think we're probably, and the engine is running here. We're probably looking at something intermittent. Which are my least favorite things to worry about. The only actual thing I did with this car, I noticed it was a little bit over. I didn't use my blinker. We're in the high school parking lot. I added about a quart of oil to this engine, so it was very low on oil. I didn't look to see if it was leaking, but I always check the oil level in the engine before I test drive it, so that I'm not the dude that just bought somebody a motor, because it ran before it got into my hands and didn't after. Let's give her the beans here. Ooh, there is a major hesitation when your foot's on the floor. Like surgeon. Like it just, dude, it's bogging. Like, oh, okay, all right. So I want to look at my oxygen sensor. Hang on, scan tool time. Okay, so I picked some data PIDs, my short term and my long term, my mass airflow, which ironically is now actually reading something. My AF oxygen switch counts, so assuming that's switch counts. Target air fuel, throttle position. We're floored and nothing at all is happening. 2% throttle motor, oil pressure switch, fuel pump status, and I am gonna drop this bad boy in gear. Hopefully the camera doesn't go flying, and I'm gonna record and just punch it. Oh, it's majorly struggling for power. It's good for like half throttle, and then it's like a plugged fuel filter or something. So I'm gonna pull over and check those recordings. Okay, so I think I found a problem, as people probably think that I'm drunk. Watch your short-term fuel trim. Short-term fuel trim. I am gonna floor. Bogging, major bogging, with engine knocking. All right, folks, sorry I'm probably kind of washed out. It really is that bright. So my service hybrid system and my check engine light are back on. I don't know if you saw it, but I noticed my short-term fuel trim, when it's punched, is up well over positive 20%. So I think, at the risk of being simple here, that I'm going to probably, even with no code for it, I'm going to head back to the shop and I'm going to check our code setting criteria for that poor engine performance, which is probably going to be horribly undescriptive, just like the code itself. And I think I'm going to start checking fuel pressure. I'm going to put an amp clamp on my fuel pump, go for a little toot, and just check our pressure, things like that, and make sure that we are actually getting the fuel pressure, since this issue only happens under load, which is good that we were able to duplicate the problem. So we are now in electric only mode. Apparently this thing locks out the engine when it sees an issue. So I'm going to clear the codes, head back to the shop, maybe get our battery back up to 3 bars. I don't know how you charge it once it runs itself completely dead, so I'm trying to be kind of careful there. We'll see you back at the shop. Okay, so I don't know if you saw it on film, but oh man, apparently you just lift up on the seat. Oh, maybe not. Oh man. Yeah, perhaps I'm gonna recheck my instructions. Place your hands under the hook. What do we got for a hook? Boy, this is so difficult to remove a seat. Maybe push it back a bit. You've never been up before. It feels loose. I don't want to break it. Why? Why me? I'm gonna go get me a little tool. What do we got? Oh. Well, that's pretty standard. Okay. Try wrapping this pry bar in a rag here. Oh man, there's she tight. There's she tight. Oh man. Yeah. Okay. Apparently that's a special tool you need. I'm just sticking the pry bar right underneath, or rather right beside, kind of helping to pull up on it. Wow. Alright. That was certainly fun. Okay. Alright. A lot of grunting in this video. Sorry, folks. Alright. Maybe I'll put this. Okay. So it looks like this is held on by the magic goo. Get some sort of sensor there. I don't know. A lot of manufacturers do this with the magical tar. Kind of holds everything together. So I'm after two things. One, I want to see live data on my fuel pressure, and if I can, assuming that this is what I think it is, which it should be, I also want to see what the pump motor is doing, doing a current ramp on. Oh baby, God, Toyota thought of everything on this one. Push this donger through. Okay, and that's kind of nasty. So, I'll bring you guys in. Okay, so that's about the best view that I can get you. And it looks, quite obviously, like I got a fuel tank pressure sensor. And one fuel line outlet right here. So, returnless system, fairly typical. And power connector for the pump motor, and probably fuel level sender and all that other good stuff. I'm gonna go pull a wire diagram, but looks like I got a gray and a white that are my two fattest wires, so lucky guess on that's probably gonna be the pump motor circuit right there. I'm gonna go get a current clamp and an oscilloscope, see what we can maybe do in the shop. It's a little bit inconvenient to work on, but what I'm going to do, kind of tuck this little trap door up out of our way. I'm going to cut the sheath back here a little bit. Oh, never mind, it's just taped, so that I don't stress our wires quite so much. Now, I think we're gonna, should might be taped really good. What we're gonna do, we're just gonna very carefully, gingerly, remember, cut towards your buddy, not your body. I'm gonna open that up a little bit. Okay. So don't break anything with the jaws of the current probe. So, all right. So, okay. Right here, hopefully you can see that, are the two wires that I suspect. I'm thinking a common ground, probably a 12-volt power feed, more than likely. I haven't looked up a diagram. And then a common ground for the pump motor and the sender for the fuel gauge. And then probably a 5-volt and a data wire, if you will, for the fuel level sensor. And then 2 for the pump motor. So I'm gonna go ahead and get our scope set up and see what we see. Okay, let's see what we get for a current ramp here. Engine starting, allegedly. Let's see what we see. Maybe. Kinda. Oh, there we go. Actually, that looks pretty normal. Com bars on it look pretty dang good. I don't see any problems on the fuel pump motor. What we're gonna do now, just swap for a multimeter. See, we're using about 4 point. Oop, there we died. Come on, baby. Just using a little over 4 amps worth of current to run this fuel pump. So what I want to do, let's go for a test toot, since you have to have this under load. To get any results, just did it. You don't want to do it too long because it will shut the engine off. So I don't see any reduction in current, or really any change in current, so I think fuel pressure is in order. That we'll check next. How do you get the key beeper to stop beeping? Like, this car doesn't have keys. Shh. Anyway. Okay, so here's what we know. Unique car. You can probably sense a little frustration in my voice. So I spent probably the better part of an hour and a half, probably closer to 2 hours, trying to find an adapter in my master Bosch or OTC fuel pressure kit, because it really feels like a fuel delivery issue, contrary to what the amperage on the pump says. And the only thing I could do is I found 3 quick connects in the fuel line, one of which, it's under the airbox, that I actually had an adapter to deal with. The other part of the frustration is the fuel pressure kit, or quick release kit. We're missing 2 of the tools. So I can't take the line loose from the fuel rail or anything like that. So I got another idea, kind of that, since my O2s were all over the place. You saw a little bit of it. It's really hard to record, but I distinctly remember the -20, then immediately the +20, and all of this stuff, the poor engine power. You know, it only happens at a certain RPM, so I think what I want to do is my next likely scenario. Oh, I did look in the air intake just to make sure something hadn't been sucked up in there. I did clean the mass airflow sensor. The intake is bone dry, oil free. So I think where I'm possibly going on this, since this car was a little more than a quart low on oil, maybe it's got an oil consumption issue. It does not drip on the floor. I looked under it to make sure of that. So I think what I'm going to do at this point, because it's fairly easy, is I'm going to take the oxygen sensor, whatever you call it now in the new cars, air fuel sensor, I'm going to take that sensor out and see what happens. It's located right in front of your nose. It's super easy to get to, and the way that it looks in this manoverter, I should be able to look at the catalyst, the face of the catalyst. I know just in past experiences with regular cars that if they burn a lot of oil, it does tend to just plug the catalytic converter, and that could correspond to my hesitation when you get to a higher RPM, my lack of power, and maybe a perceived failure to start on the engine. I really don't suspect the hybrid drive as having any sort of a problem. I mean, this car runs beautifully for what it's got on electric power. I think that's what we'll do. So I'll join you outside underneath the hood. Okay, so a couple of things. Kind of getting stuff ready for you. I got this guy broke loose, but you'll find there's a clip, and you got to squeeze the two ears. And what he's doing, unenhanced, is he's holding your air fuel sensor to the upper radiator hose. So to get that unplugged and to get that snaked out so you're not, destroying your connectors or anything like that. One thing I did notice, we got a rub through on this wire, or at least the loom that it travels through. So the sensor was working, so I'm not too alarmed about that, but just something to keep in mind. Just use the old adjustable to break this guy loose. That worked incredibly well. So yeah, we're gonna take our hose downward pliers and gently do the extraction process. Kind of nice to see an oxygen sensor. I'm just gonna call it an oxygen sensor, okay? I mean, let's face it, it's basically doing that. It's nice to see this come out. 182,000 miles on it. Really don't want to twist it by the wires or nothing. They're always flaming hot. Oh, there we go. Okay. So, kind of get yourself a look at the tip on that. Interesting. Oh, there's your problem, lady. Okay, so what I'm looking at, we're low tech here. I don't have a bore scope or anything. It's maybe a case that I should borrow one. But what I see, the face of the catalyst, it looks like a window screen, so it's porous, but this one is plastered shut with mold growing on it. I think that is the oil consumption issue, or maybe mileage, but it really looks like the converter on this thing is totally plugged. So my brain is fried, guys, I'm sorry. So I think I'm off the fuel system at this point, and onto the breathing system. So what we need to do is we need to road test this car, since I can't really do anything but idle the engine, which idle's fine. We need to road test this thing, preferably with the oxygen sensor not installed in the hole, and not set the hood on fire or burn the paint off of it. Okay, so progress made. I'm gonna figure something out. I'll be right back. I think before we do that, I'm gonna start the engine and just see how much puffing is coming out of this hole. If we can start the engine. Oh, baby. Okay, folks, this is looking pretty definitive at this point. That was a lot of air. You probably heard it as well. I'd really like to road test this, but I think with that amount of air blowing out of the cat, we definitely have a plugged catalyst in this car. It's a maniverter, so they give those things away. I think at this point, I still want to devise something so we don't burn this hood off, or take the hood off the car maybe. I don't know how much work that is. Buy the right diagnostic equipment maybe. Yeah, we're onto something here. So I'll figure something out. I'll be back. So this is resting on metal. Okay. We're obviously not going to run the Indianapolis 500 with this car, but I'm going to take that to the radiator cap. What I want to do is I want to compare the performance of the engine with the O2 sensor out. I mean, it ran horribly this morning unless you didn't have your foot in it. No O2 sensor, drive it, you know, then put the O2 sensor back in but not connect it to the computer, drive it again and see if we have a noticeable performance difference, which we quite obviously should. If the catalytic converter is plugged. I don't have a known good one for these cars to compare it to, and to be quite frank, I really don't work on stuff that's newer. I'm a high school auto instructor, so most of our stuff's 20 plus years old. So I think oh yeah, okay, so nothing touches that. Nice. All right, folks, fire extinguisher in hand. Oh, I'm going to put that nicely back where I found it, just in case. Let's go for a test drive. Maybe. Wake up, baby. Oh, ready. There we go. Oh, she's powerful. And the check engine light is on. Probably for an O2 sensor. Floored. Oh, that is way. Better shut this off. Make sure we're not on fire. Let me make sure we ain't on fire. Okay, all right, folks, just checking. We're good. No smoke. It did warp that piece of steel, by the way. So she's blowing some flames. She hot. That is way better than what we had this morning. That is 100% for sure. Test number 2 is we're going to put the O2 sensor back in, and we're going to do the same test, wide open throttle, and we're going to see what happens. And I'm willing to bet that it's going to drive really crappy. So I ain't even going to pull in the shop. It wants my seatbelt on in the worst kind of way. I am going to check trouble codes, because last time we opened her up wide open, we had a poor engine power or something like that. All I have is pending current for an O2 sensor, air fuel sensor, AFR, low bank 1 sensor 1, obviously, because it ain't in the engine. It is now. So I'm going to check and see. I don't think we're going to have any trouble codes in the hybrid drive. It's not giving us that message anymore. So let's recreate the test. Watering gear. Ooh, she's a lot quieter. And floor. Oh no. No, 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 no. Yeah, we got like no power. Nothing. No, and there the engine just shut off. Okay, and check hybrid system is back on, and every light on my dash is now lit up. So I think that's pretty definitive, folks. Yeah, we are electric power now, so 1 bar on the battery. I'm gonna shut engine off, restart said engine, maybe. Oh, there she's going. Interesting little setup. Battery charging, good. Anyway, I think it's pretty definitive. This car needs a maniverter. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna quote the customer on a replacement maniverter. They give those things away, and see what they want to do. I'm gonna put everything back the way that it was before I started dinking with it. I doubt it's fuel pressure, so because it runs way too good, and as soon as I put that O2 sensor back in, we get a mountain of trouble codes. So I guess just trying not to hit stuff here. I guess, folks, there you got it. Whatever the 2 codes were, watch the beginning of the video on your 2009 Toyota Camry Hybrid. Poor engine power, low engine power, and then engine failed to start. So if that's the case, if your car is having this issue, it would be wicked easy to check your catalytic converter. The face of it looks like this car's only got one. I haven't really spent a lot of time underneath it or anything, but probably time for this video to end. If you like what we did here today, if you learned something, I know I learned a lot. I've never worked on one of these before, so I guess that's off the bucket list. Leave us a comment, leave us a thumbs up if this helped you. I guess we did our job. Till next time, thanks for watching.